Seyi Tinubu kicked off the march at Maryland, leading supporters and party faithful. The managing director, Primero Transport Limited, Fola Tinubu, says Asiwaju will replicate his achievements in Lagos if elected president.
Take note of those names. You have Seyi Tinubu and then Fola Tinubu saying that Tinubu will replicate his achievements in Lagos across Nigeria. Now let's start with this achievement. These two sons, Seyi Tinubu is in charge of billboards in Lagos State, practically pushing out every other commoner in that space of mobile advertising, creating unemployment and sorrows and suffering for many people whose sources of livelihood is advertising. Bola Ahmed Tinubu successfully drove those people out and handed over these to his son, Seyi Tinubu, who is now currently in charge of all the billboards in Lagos. Now, let's take Fola Tinubu, who is the managing director of Primero Transport. Primero Transport is the company in charge of BRT buses. Now, BRT buses is supposed to be Lagos State owned. In fact, the funds that were used to set it up were a loan that was taken in the name of Lagos State. Now, through some funny arrangement, it was made into a partnership, a public-private partnership, where Bola Tinubu's son was put in charge of Primero Transport Company, which is now practically in charge of BRT in Lagos. Do you know how many families have been thrown into suffering because they have been displaced by BRT? How many Danfo drivers can no longer operate? How many Molue drivers can no longer operate because of being thrown out of business by the Tinubu family, by this Primero? So when people talk about replicating what Tinubu did in Lagos across Nigeria, I fear for Nigeria. I fear for Nigeria because what it just simply means is it will just take the sources of revenue for Nigeria and hand it over to his family and friends and then continually put Nigerians into poverty. That's what he has done. He has done it with Lekki Concession Company. He has done it with the Alpha Beta Company. He has done it with the Primero Transport Company. He has done it with Lotsad Promo Media. Bola Tinubu specializes in setting up companies for his friends and families and using those companies to take away the wealth of the people, to transfer public funds into private pockets. At the same time, keeping Lagosians poor and out of job and unemployed. Lagos has the highest debt rate. They owe the highest, despite boasting about highest IGR. Lagos has the highest number of slums. Lagos has the highest number of poor people. Lagos has the worst conditions of living in Nigeria. And then we're talking about replicating what Tinubu did in Lagos across Nigeria. You want to replicate this? Nigerians, please beware. It is time for us to be smart. Stop looking at the tertiary, the thorough cover that you hope to get from a Bola Tinubu. Stop looking at that and look at how Nigeria can work for all of us. As it is now, the way Bola Tinubu and APC have made Nigeria, you need a lot of money to live a comfortable life. And that's the problem. That's the trap that they have put us in, so that the people will continue to chase after them to get the small money that they can use to live comfortable life, which many of them will not get. Rather, let us look at a Peter Obi and we'll make it such that you need only small money to live a comfortable life. So you will not need to beg anybody. You will not need to beg anybody to live a good life. That's what Peter Obi wants to do. That's what Peter Obi wants to do. Let's give him that chance. Let's set ourselves free from being fine bara, well-educated beggars. Let's set ourselves free, well-educated dependents. People who depend on Bola Tinubu for money to sustain themselves will go out to continue to lie for him. Let the rest of us be wise so that we can free Nigeria from this chain of poverty and suffering that Bola Tinubu has put Nigeria in.